Anyway, most of this you have already seen. As you'll recall, we have been through the youth scholarship program in depth over the last several months to include your changes made for the present fiscal year 14 program. So since the end of September, I just wanted to bring you up to date with the last of the numbers and just basically roll us on into the new program. As you'll recall, you had placed a $200 limit per individual, $500. Sorry, Tim. Poor Tim's heard this thing 1,000 times.
No, this is good.
I mean,
Rock and fire.
Okay. $500 limit per family. The program from the city funding was $18,000 for the year. And we now require Moscow residency, and plus any donations or grants that aren't specific to residency can be in addition to that. Part of the old program where the parent or caregiver is required to request the scholarship. Also, the proof of need options that we have listed there are in effect now as well. Always fun to look at the charts. And we went back as far as 2010, and you can see things stayed fairly steady across until, of course, this year where you added the $18,000 for funding. And so, as you can see in the purple there, the huge spike, but that's what that is. That's the 18,000, and always nice to list those that forked over a few bucks for this. And it was appreciated and needed, and kind of as an emergency there toward the end is where the Moscow Chinooks Masters Swimming donated the $1,000 toward the swim lessons only, which came in very handy.
Wow.
Press the right buttons here. Here you have on your expenditures from 2009. You can see how it kind of skyrocketed, and then all of a sudden you see where it just tapers off right at the end, and that is when we kind of put the stop on things when it was starting to skyrocket. As you can see in note number 2 that I have at the bottom there, I thought was kind of just puts a perspective to this. And May 20th of 2012. We were at $3,200 in expenditures. Same time in 2013, we were at almost $14,000. So, I mean, and that's when, of course, you guys took some action. This is kind of an interesting way to look at it. You can see just where the distribution amounts go to. And you don't necessarily have to look at the dollars on these, but just where the distributions went. Then if you start looking at the dollars, you can see huge amounts. The camps, of course, are the ones that killed us in 2013. Yes, sir.
And that was because they come early in the rotation. I mean, the camps come on before the pools do.
Yes.
So that was why camps jumped up so large in 13. If swim season had come before camps, then the pools would have been big.
Pool would, yes, it would have been a little different looking chart. Yeah, I'm just guessing, but I would guess that probably would have been on the swimming pool passes, probably around the $7,500 to $8,000 mark.
I think also camps can be used by parents to help with childcare situations. More so, I mean, they're more regularly scheduled, and I hear repeatedly from parents that they can't afford childcare while they're working, and their kids, need a place to go.
No question about it.
I think that serves as well.
Absolutely no question about it. Another perspective, just broken down by the different categories that we had this in, and you can see where camps, of course, just skyrocketed. The others didn't do too badly, but at the same time, the general programs weren't weren't so bad anyway, but you can see with the swim passes and the swim lessons that, of course, when the limits were put into place was just before the pool passes, and all of that would have taken off. So that's why you see the dip there. This one's a little, I always thought this one was kind of interesting, except this year it's a little out of whack because once the limitations were put into place, things just sort of stopped. So this probably would have been different had you not put any limitations in place until fiscal year 14. But there's a considerable difference between this year and or 13 and 12.
Yet, if I may.
Yes, sir.
Go back, yeah. Yet with 155 individual participants, 13 over 11 was $10,000 increase?
Yes. Camps.
Yeah. Less bodies, more dollars.
Yes.
Looks like Tim has a question.
Oh, sorry, Tim.
Not a question. I guess something popped into my head here. Between the swimming lessons, the general programs, the camps, and the pool passes, I'm wondering if Parks and Rec ought to take a look at balancing the dollars that are applied to each one of those groups so that the camps don't blow away swim lessons like they did this year.
Well, I believe that the restrictions that have been put into place this next year, when you see this whole report, you're going to see a very different graph. I mean, the restrictions that are put into place are just going to make a significant difference across the board. I mean, different ways to look at that too, but and of course we'll review this again, the Parks and Rec Commission, analyze it, and if that's a case that is still thought to be necessary, sure, we can balance that out.
Do limits by category or something.
Sue?
I was just going to say there's something that I don't think we've ever asked but would be good to know for next year is what percentage of the entire camp's budget is used by scholarships, or what percentage of the entire swimming budget is used by. In other words, are there more people on scholarships than actually pay, or are there more people paying than,
Well,
just a ballpark?
We haven't posted that on here, but we do have that data. I couldn't tell you what it is right off, but I mean, well, you can figure that.
Percentage-wise? I mean, do you have any?
Off the top, I don't.
No, okay.
But I can tell you that $10,000 of the revenues that were projected, we didn't get for camps. So when you have a program that you're supposed to balance, granted, we use the scholarship as the balancing funds there. And the important thing is, the kids participating and still trying to be fiscally responsible. So this one was kind of interesting. I like to compare the residents to non-residents, and you can see just on the dollars and the value use for non-residents a considerable spike, where with the residents it actually went down. But this could still be a little skewed because of the caps that we put on in the latter part of the season. So, and then just to give you, this is what we had. This was one request. It was one family, had 3 children. They were new to the program, so they had not participated in the scholarship program in the past. Using a $200 cap per individual, you can see what each used, and for a family, they used $87. They were residents, and they used the EBT card.
And can I ask what
Yes, sir.
program that was used for this time of year?
I don't know the answer to that. It wasn't camp. It would have to be one of the general programs, probably a winter sports. And so this is how it works. We've turned away, to my knowledge, just one request that was a non-resident that wasn't aware. They were past last 2-3 years, past users of the program. How they didn't get the word, I don't know. We sent out letters. It's posted everywhere. And then, of course, we don't know yet of those that might have tried online. I guess you can't do this online anyway for the scholarship, but we just won't know that particular answer.
But there still is a potential for non-residents to be eligible if there are donations that are not
Yes.
specified for that
Yes.
purpose. So that party could sometime in the future become eligible
Yes,
then again.
and the one that was turned down, we told them to keep watching. We will we'll update the web page just like we did this last year as we have additional funds, so they have a good idea of the status at any given time.
Okay.
Dwight, is the $500 family cap driven by the family name? How do you know when the family's $500 cap is reached?
Well, everybody is registered under a family
By name?
by name. Sometimes, nowadays there's a lot of mixed families, so it can get, there's a little bit of honesty stuff you have to go by when people register, but I don't think we've got a problem with that.
But you're working off of a particular parent's ID
Yes,
and taking their word that Freddie is their child and part of the program.
yes. And if there are repeats, somebody that has used the program before, we already have them in the database anyway. So, and I believe that that's the end. Sorry I didn't take more time. And I could talk about it more if you would like, but I'm sleepy. Any questions?
Thanks, Dwight.
Yes, Dawn would like me to go through these again from the start.
I think Parks and Rec people led us in calisthenics or something to like perk us up at this time of night,
Yes.
right? Yes. Uh-huh.
I'll look for one.
Walter?
Madam Mayor, I'd make a motion to accept the report of the Youth Scholarship Program today.
Second.
Okay, Walter's motion and Sue's second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll start a roll call vote. Tim?
Aye.
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 Okay, that
Thank
is
you.
approved. We appreciate your report, Dwight. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Well done.